Hi everybody! I know it's been a long time since you heard from me, and I'll tell you, I've had so many phone calls from so many people wanting me to come back on here and talk about this and talk about that. So here I am. Honestly, I've been not feeling my best, and I've been studying for an exam, and so now I'm back, and I want to talk about life. And when I say life, I'm going to talk about everything in life. Let's get down to the juice, real juice. And I'm sitting here, my cameraman's not here, my daughter's not here, my dog's not here. So it's just going to be me and you. And I'm going to talk about any and everything. So today I want to talk about my life as a young woman. And I want to do that because there are a lot of young women out there that may be going through something similar that I've gone through in my life, or maybe going down a path that they're not sure where to go. So that's what I want to talk about today. When I was 18, I got pregnant with my first child. And it was very, I don't want to say it was very hard at the time, but I wish I had someone that I could have, spoken to about what was going on in my life. And I think there are a lot of young women out there that doesn't have someone they feel comfortable enough with to talk to, or to say, hey, this is what's going on with me. What do you think? What do you think I should do, or how do you think I should approach this? And you know what? I hate to say it, but I'm going to blame the moms, because you have to create that relationship with your child. And I didn't have that with my mom, where I can go and sit down with her and say, hey, this is what's going on, because she probably didn't have that with her mom. So it's a cycle that keeps on going down. And so I decided that when my daughter got older, I wanted to be that mom. I wanted her to come to me and say stuff and tell me what's going on with her life so that I can help her. Because ladies, young ladies out there, your mom is so full of experience, knowledge, and wisdom. And it may not even be your mom. It could be someone sitting in for your mom. Maybe your mom passed away, maybe there's someone else that's being a mother figure to you, but they are full of wisdom, because that thing that you're going through, they've already gone through. Trust me when I tell you. And when you're a young person and you have an older woman or a mother figure that's in your life that is willing to sit down with you and talk to you about life, listen. Sit down, close mouth, and listen. Because I'll tell you, they're not telling you anything that's going to hurt you. They're telling you things that they want to make you aware of. When they're talking to you, they're probably using their own personal experiences. So don't take it as if they want to control your life. They want to tell you what to do, because that really is not the case. And so I do the same thing with my daughter. My daughter's 22. And I feel like sometimes she hides things from me, but I try to keep the door of communication open. And I want her to know, even if she's watching right now, that it doesn't matter what it is that you are going through. Mommy's here to talk about any and everything. I mean, I might not even want to hear all of it, but the gist of it, I'm here, and I am full of knowledge. And the things that you go through, I've already been through. So I want to share some of my personal experiences with some of you that may not have that woman figure in your life. So when I was 18, I had my first child, and I was in a terrible relationship. It was not a good relationship. And At the time, I didn't know if I wanted to keep it, if I wanted to not keep it. I didn't have that many options, so I went with it. I had her. And it was not a bad decision, but if I knew the things that I knew now, I probably would have waited. But I'll tell you this. Once you have a child, it's no longer about you. Now you're at a point where you have to grow up and make your priorities about that child. It's no longer about you and you have, you doing whatever you want to do. No, now you're living for that child, because every decision that you make is going to affect that little person. And that's how you have to see it. So I made a lot of bad choices. I remember one time, after I had my daughter, she had to be about 2 years old. And from the time that she was born, I want to say she was about 4 months, that her father was no longer in her life. And it was just she and I that I made some decisions that, looking back at it now that I'm older, I was stupid. I really was stupid. But I made those decisions because at the time I thought they were good decisions. But I remember this guy I used to date. He really liked me. I didn't really like him, but he liked me. And so I would let him take care of me because I had my daughter. I didn't have a job. And he had the means to take care of us because of what he used to do. So I allowed him to do that. And I had another guy that I really liked. And one day he came and he saw me coming off of a date with the guy, and he kidnapped me and my daughter. And it was scary. It was scary because I think it was that moment that I realized that I had made those decisions that put my baby in a place where she can possibly be hurt. And I remember as we were driving and he was hitting me in the passenger seat, and my daughter was buckled up in the back, and he was very upset. He was hurt. That I looked in the back and I saw my 2-year-old watching this man slap me in the face and arguing and cussing and carrying on and calling me names. And I looked at her and she looked at me and she was crying. And I think it was that point that I made a decision that if I can get her out of that situation, that would never happen again, ever. And let me tell you, that incident changed my life completely. At that moment, I think I matured. I wanted to be her mommy, and I wanted to be a good mommy. And unfortunately, it took that incident that made me think that way. But I'll tell you what it did. It turned me around completely. From that moment on, my entire life was based around her. Every decision I made, every guy that I dated thereafter had to benefit my child in some way. He just couldn't be anybody off the street. He just couldn't be anyone because he took care of me or took care of her. He had to have substance. He had to contribute some way in her life, or she would never meet him. That's just what it was. And so I think for young women that are finding themselves in a situation where they are moms or becoming moms, it's a huge decision. And don't look at yourself as if, oh my God, I made this mistake and I'm nobody, I'm nothing, because you actually have the ability to turn that entire situation around. See, having a child does not stop you from pursuing the things that you wanted to pursue. It makes it harder, but it doesn't stop that. If you want, you can keep pushing. Now, I'll tell you that even though after I had my daughter, there are things that I wanted to do, and because it took me away from her, I decided not to do it because I felt like I made the decision to have her, and so I didn't want her to suffer. And so I made that decision not to have her away from me, but I wanted to watch her grow up, and I did. But I mean, if you want to pursue a career, a passion, if you have goals that you still want to do, you can still do those things. Being a single mom doesn't mean that life stops for you. What it does, it stops you from only thinking about you. But you now have to think about this child that you brought into the world that is dependent upon you. You know, and you now have to grow up and be everything that a mom is supposed to be to a child that one didn't ask to be here. And that's just what it is. So, you know, I want to encourage you women out there, or you young ladies out there that may be going through this similar situation, or you know, you might find yourself in that situation and nobody knows, and you're hiding it and you're afraid. I've been there, and I can tell you that, I think of it like this. If you made the decision to lay down with someone and to, you know, do all those things with someone that led to you being pregnant, then you gotta woman up and do what you need to do. Because now you can't think about, oh, if everybody know what's gonna happen to me. You know, you gotta think about that baby that's inside of you. You know, and make a conscious decision as to, okay, this is something that I've done. Where do I go from here? What am I going to do? You know, you have to make that choice. Don't allow anyone to make any decisions for you. You have to make a decision, and you have to stick with that decision. But don't let anyone push you to do anything that you may regret, that you really don't want. You have to look at your life and say, okay, I'm doing this, and this is how I'm going to go about it. Have a plan. Have a backup plan. Because with that comes great responsibility, and it is going to be hard. I don't care how many times people say, oh, it's easy and you'll get over that and it'll work. It is going to be extremely hard being a new mom, or being a mom with kids, and now you have the responsibility of feeding these children and taking care of them.